May I have everyone stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would stand one more moment, bow your heads, say a prayer, whatever God you pray to. Thank you. Chairs are big. May I have the clerk call the roll, please?
Mayor Marino?
Here.
Vice Mayor Woods?
Here, ma'am.
Councilmember Marciano?
Here.
Councilmember Lane?
Here.
Councilmember Litt?
Here. Thank you. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And I know we do have a presentation from the Solid Waste Authority. May I please invite up Willie and Brian?
Hello, Mayor, council members. It's great to be here today again. I'm Willie Puzz, the Director of Public Affairs and Recycling for the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. We're here today to bring you good news. And the good news is because your city residents recycle right. That means they have a blue and yellow bin at home. They put paper and cardboard in their yellow bin. They put metal, plastic, and glass containers in their blue bin. They've recycled, since 2010, we implemented this program, they recycled more than 31,000 tons of material that would have otherwise wound up in a landfill. It's an impressive number. And we're very proud that your residents are doing things right. So really, what does that equate to? It equates to revenues. So once we share or sort all of those recyclables, we sell them as a commodity, and we get dollars for them. With those dollars, we share back with the cities 50-50 for what we collect. And since 2010, since the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County implemented this recycling revenue share program, the city has earned $739,000, $153.18, which is an incredible chunk of change of something that you're not recycling. So we have a great check to present to you today that you've received over the past 10 years, and we hope that you all would join us just for a quick photo. But one thing I would like to recommend, is to offer you. If you really don't know where your recyclables go, if you don't know what happens to your garbage once it goes away, meaning that once it leaves your curb, encourage you all and all of your residents to come out to celebrate America Recycles Day with the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County on November 17th from 8 to 12. There you can go see exactly where your trash goes. And if you're smart, put your garbage in an orange bag if your garbage collection is on Saturday, and see if you can find it in the 15 million ton pit. I challenge you to find it. On there, we'll also have rolling tours that go through our recycle facility, that will go to our landfill, that will go to our home chemical and recycling centers, so you can see the services that we offer as a county government, the services that we offer, and also how responsibly and efficiently your waste and recyclables are managed. So again, thank you very much for your residents doing the right thing, and for you encouraging recycling even on this complex with all of the blue and yellow recycle bins. It's phenomenal. And again, we're very proud to present you with this check.
Why don't we come on down?
Thank you.
Well, on that note, I'd like to say thank you to the residents of Palm Beach Gardens and for the city for all the recycling. That's a great bonus. Thank you very much for being here today and presentation. And November 17th, 8 to 12, Solid Waste Authority tours and get to know Solid Waste Authority. Thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda, because I don't think I have any more announcements and presentations, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Items of resident interest and board committee reports. Who wants to go first? Rochelle?
Okay, October started with my ethics course by the Palm Beach County League of Cities, the state and Palm Beach County ethics requirement, a notables charity event in Palm Beach where a $5,000 check was presented to ARC of Palm Beach County. October 10th was Leadership Palm Beach County Public Safety Day. We started with a meeting with Sheriff Rick Bradshaw and a discussion on school safety, a visit to First Appearance Court, and an eye-opening tour of the Palm Beach County Jail, ending with an interesting presentation by Carrie Howitt, Public Defender for Palm Beach County. October 13th, we were Pitch for the Cure at Riverside Recreation Center, supporting breast cancer patients and survivors through the Susan G. Komen South Florida and our Palm Beach Gardens girls softball teams. October 15th was the Forum Club with former Special Prosecutor Ken Starr. And October 16th was the District 18 Congressional Debate sponsored by the Palm Beach North Chamber. October 17th, we had the PGA Carter Association breakfast featuring our own Natalie Crowley, who did an amazing job going through all of the exciting projects and their various stages going on in the city. It was quite a reminder to how vibrant and active everything is right now. Rosa Schechter also presented an update on Avenir, and Kim Delaney spoke more about the transit-oriented development concept. October 18th was the Palm Beach County Water Task Force and the Jewish Community Relations Council Board meeting. I spent a lovely week drinking wine in the Napa Valley, which was very rejuvenating before being hit in the heart by the horrendous act of violence and the hateful murders of 11 at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Our community came together, and Palm Beach Gardens was represented by the entire council at a moving interfaith service on Tuesday evening at Temple Beth Am in Jupiter. There were more than 1,000 people of all faiths who came together to grieve as a community and begin the healing process with truth and respect for all of us as God's children, and with an open heart. We can rise above the hate that's taken over the national narrative. We just have to want to.
Thank you. Matthew.
Hey, I'd like to begin by saying our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the injured and the deceased in Pittsburgh. For the families of the deceased, I think this ancient prayer is appropriate. Oseh shalom b'mramav, yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal Yisrael v'mramein. May the Father of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved among us. And for the injured, we pray for a refuah shlema, speedy and full recovery to health. And this is especially so for the heroic law enforcement officers who went into the line of fire and saved the lives of people who would have died that terrible morning. In Ecclesiastics, King Solomon said, to everything there's a season, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Now more than ever, we need a time to laugh and a time to dance. On December 5th, 2018, at 5 p.m., there's going to be a Hanukkah celebration of unity in the pavilion right outside this building. All of the temples and synagogues in Palm Beach Gardens, including Temple Judea, Temple Beth David, the Gardens Jewish Experience, and Chabad of Palm Beach Gardens, the Federation, the JCC, the Meyer Preparatory School, and all of the members of this council will be there to celebrate Hanukkah. There'll be food, games for the children, and a candle lighting. and you're all invited to attend. And finally, turning to the events that I attended over the course of the last month. I attended the opening of the Green Market, the Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, the Mirabella Fire Drill, the Palm Beach North Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, the Corridor Association Breakfast, the Economic Forum Luncheon, the North County Neighborhood Coalition Meeting, the Palm Beach North Chamber Breakfast, the PGA Corridor Association Development Update, Read for the Record, the Palm Beach Gardens Fall Festival, and Tuesday's Interfaith Unity Service. And finally, I'd like to welcome Mayor Levy, my tennis partner, and look forward to hearing your report tonight. Thank you.
Mark.
It was a busy month, definitely highlighted by Tuesday evening's really inspirational and wonderful event. I think the hardest part is trying to find people that are in the shadows and maybe not enjoying life or not feeling that they're a part of the community. This entire council was there. It was very uplifting to see all of us there side by side, and I think that's a testament to this city and to our community. But all of us know somebody that may not be feeling like they're involved, that they are loved, that they're cared about. So I think that's our challenge, is to reach out to everybody. But other than that, the Green Market opening was a lot of fun. We went to an autonomous vehicle event, which was really quite interesting. The softball opening day is always a lot of fun, and I think you got the ball over the plate this time.
I did get the ball
over the plate. PGA Corridor Breakfast, the Gardens Classic Soccer Tournament, and I do want to take a moment. I think many of you know that my boys are still playing soccer, and it's killing my wife and I, but we do enjoy going to watch them play. The Gardens Soccer Tournament was a rousing success. I did get a nice report here from the city and from the Sports Commission, and if you just give me a moment to kind of explain a little bit the benefit of having athletics in our community, the children that play, the parents that get to engage and be with them and volunteer. And I did volunteer for 4 hours in the stifling heat to watch kids play soccer, which was wonderful. It was held over the weekend of October 19th in 5 parks through our city and 2 parks outside of our city. I can't wait to have all of them in our city next year when we host this tournament again. This is the 5th year of the Gardens Classic Tournament, which is hosted by the Palm Beach Gardens Predators Program, which is really the city's public organization. In the first year, there was 109 teams that participated. This year, there was 209 teams that participated, and they came from everywhere around the state and a few from out of state. My older son's tournament was in that tournament. My younger son was in Tampa for another tournament for some reason I don't understand, but that's okay. There were 346 games played. The weather was wonderful. The facilities were great. The roughing was always suspect, but yet everybody had a great time. The 3-day event brought players, siblings, adults, all of which were walking around the communities, and it's the same thing with the softball. It's such a wonderful thing to see the families get to be together, and that's what community is all about. And the most amazing thing that I had to question, because I didn't quite believe it, but based on early analysis by the Sports Commission, the event created a regional economic impact of almost $1 million. And I thought there was a couple of zeros in the wrong place there. But if you think about the team registrations, the reffing, the hotels, the restaurants, the people that spend time in the city that don't normally spend time in the city, you know, we talk about athletics, we talk about the fields and the parks and all the things and all the wonderful things it does for our local community, for our local families and children. But really, the added benefit is showcasing our city to people all around the state, and everybody that comes to this city just loves it and wishes they could spend more time here. So thank you to the city staff for putting together a great tournament, making sure the fields were in top-notch condition because they were great, and for our first responders being available for all of the families that had a great time that weekend. Other things, the Chamber Breakfast, which was really fun to be a part of again. Economic Development Committee, Read for the Record is always fun reading to the kids. I did go to the Majorca grand opening, which is right by the mall. It's a beautiful facility. The TOD public meeting, I did not attend to the business meeting. I stopped in, but the public meeting was great. I wish there was more residents that came to watch, but it was very educational for the people that did attend. The Fall Festival last Friday night, we had the Queen of Spades. Hearts. Hearts. And the golf tournament for the Police and Fire Explorer this past Saturday, which was a lot of fun, especially watching a really good golfer play with us, and that wasn't me. Thank you.
Carl.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and donate my time to you because I know I'm just going to be repetitive. We all were everywhere, except I did not go see Mark's kids play soccer. So other than that, we were everywhere. And it was nice to see the council together up at Temple Beth Am. We were like the only council that was there. Jupiter had one council member there. So that was really good for us to see. But Mayor, I'll let you, I know you're going to cover some things that I was at, so I'll just let you do it.
Well, as Carl said, we were everywhere. Here's my list. You can read it next month. Patty will include it in the minutes. But there were a couple of interesting things. I went to a joint trip to Charlotte, North Carolina with the Business Development Board, the Economic Council, several chambers of commerce, and other elected and county officials to learn more about purpose-built communities and economic development in the Charlotte area, and how does it compare with Palm Beach County, and what can we learn, what can we take away, or what can they learn from us. There was a quick in and quick out, but very interesting. About 50 of us went, paid for it out of our own pockets. But it was a really good experience, and what I can say is we do it right here in Palm Beach County. So we have a lot to be thankful for. I did do some very interesting things. I talked at Temple Beth David on some of the amendments, and let's see what else I did coffee with the mayor, which is always so much fun, and I'm happy that some of the people that were attended. Julian, I know you missed it this year, but then I followed up with, went to Palm Beach State College with a couple of, how many kids were in there? Were in the class?
Around 30 or 40.
Okay, so we did a little bit of what's it like to be part of politics and on city council, and it was, we all welcome the opportunity to do it. Did a couple of State of the Cities again, TOD workshop, career day at Palm Beach Gardens High School. Chief, thank you very much. There is a program called Suits for Seniors, which has our senior boys and also girls, if that's politically correct, young men and young ladies, young women, going through a program, and at the end of the program they actually get suited so that they can go on job interviews, they can go to college, and we had career day. And Candace, thank you also, because I know it was a grant from the Police Foundation that did the girls this year. It's just been the boys in the past, and I've spoken to them several times, and it's a wonderful thing. Sunday Schmooze radio program with Rabbi Vigler to talk about the menorah lighting, which was very nice. I was happy to do it. I do want to say thank you to the kids at St. Mark's School. They did invite me over to talk to 40 fourth graders, and each one of them had 2 questions. It was quite amazing, and these kids are smart. How old do you have to be mayor? I said, no, you don't run for mayor, you run for council. How old do you have to be to run for council? So and so on and so on, and you have to have an odd number of people up there, right? So these kids were well prepared. It was a lot of fun. Oh, stop. I do want to say a couple of things, a couple of announcements. Additionally, on Thanksgiving Day, there is going to be an interfaith service, and I don't know the location, but we can find out. And you sure?
Sure. It's at St. Paul's up in Jupiter.
Okay.
And it'll start at 7 o'clock.
Perfect. And I have to tell you, when I left the service the other day, it was one of the best services I had ever been to. So I was very moved, and I know everyone on the council also was. And I do want to also say we have the Mayor's Veterans Golf Classic on December 5th. I invite all of you to check out the website and sign up a team. What did I say? December 5th? December 1st, excuse me. And also November 30th, the day before, we'll have 9 and Wine for the ladies, whoever wants to play. Just check out our website. And on that note, Patty, I already gave you this long list, right? Okay. So we're done with board reports and committee reports, and I only have one comment card from the public, and it is Mayor David Leedy. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, David Levy, 4788 Holly Drive, Palm Beach Gardens. Okay, first off, I'm going to start with something not on the topic. But I recall when I was up there that our check from the Solid Waste Authority was $260,000. So it's gone up 3 times. So that's quite an accomplishment to the citizens of Palm Beach Gardens and the city for putting the recycling bins in all the parks and everything. So anyway, the reason why I'm here is to give you the report on the Loxahatchee River Management Coordinating Council. We had a meeting Monday, September 24th, 2018. By the way, this might be a good time to take a bathroom break. This is not going to be an exciting report. I did notice, I don't think he's here anymore, but Jonathan Rickards, who is our chairman, was in the audience before. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Our first subject was a Cypress Creek kayak launch, which will be built by the South Florida Water Management District. It's going to be located off Gulfstream Road when a weir is built. It's going to have a dry vault toilet, a shelter, parking, and a fishing dock. There's also going to be a footbridge. We're looking at 5 to 10 years before that's constructed. We also had a report from the South Florida Water Management District on the Loxahatchee River Watershed Restoration Project of Flowway 3, which will go through the Mecca Farms and then possibly a little bit through the former Pavers Avenir project and then into the C-18 canal. Okay? I'm happy to report that we had consistent, steady flows because of the amount of rain that we had in the Loxahatchee River, which is measured at what's called the Lanehart Dam. You can find these flows and the analytical data if you want, which I won't go into, which you all should clap for, at loxahatcheeriver.org. If you go to the water quality button and then hit the maps and apps button, you can see what the water quality data is, the flow data, right there in historic time and real time, and you just hit that and you'll get the data that you absolutely want. Okay, with that, the Maston Dam, which is further down than the Lanehart Dam, they're having some problems with canoers going around it and bypassing the dam. So they put a cypress log to keep canoes from bypassing the Maston Dam. With that, you all should be very happy because the last thing I have to report is that our next meeting is January 28th, 2019. It's open to the public, but we're going to start at 8 o'clock at Riverbend Park for a tour of the park. Do you all have any questions? Are you all stunned by that? Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next quarter.
Thank you, David.
And look at that timing.
All right. Next on our agenda is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I have a couple of items to bring to your attention today. We're going to ask Police Chief Clint Shannon to come forward. He has about 4 different items he wants to bring you up to date on, and then we'll go into the second presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Clint Shannon, Chief of Police. I wanted to give an update on a couple of things that we were doing that the city manager had requested we advise you. First was an update on a project that we've been working on a canine training facility, and we got a lot of people to thank in this. First and foremost is our city manager, who came up with this idea for this police and fire training facility, and also Mr. Rem Bishop from Seacoast, who was very supportive, and we're leasing the property from him on Richard Road. We also brought in Officer Brian Tialagu, who with K9 Valco, he's part of our 4-officer unit with K9. But some of the things that have been going on that site was it's taken a lot of different departments from the city that contributed to this. We repurposed a lot of the items we were using on the site. We have some concrete barriers that were cut up from sidewalks. We've had some of my staff members building boxes, some shade structures, and some other things that have been repurposed from other areas of the city. It's been fantastic. It's turning into a first-class training facility, really second to none in the county. And we share this facility with all of our neighboring agencies who we train with on a monthly or weekly basis. So the unit it's going to enhance what we can do there. And we also would like to thank not only our Police and Fire Foundation, who helped fund some of the items, but also Frenchman's Creek's Foundation, who jointly funded some of the items here. But we got a quick video we'd like to show you on it. Thank you, Alicia. Just a real quick couple facts about the unit. Over the past 12 months, giving you some statistics with them, our K-9 unit, which the officers that you saw in Officer Tialaglu have been usages are 246, and this is over the past 12 months. They've been called out for searches on 13 occasions. They've made 36 apprehensions, and that included several subjects that were charged with armed robbery, armed burglary, different residential burglaries, and stolen vehicles. That are some of the subjects they were able to take into custody. They executed 23 explosive searches. 2 of our dogs are trained for explosive detection, and 2 are for narcotics detection. And on that, we had 35 narcotic searches. They provided demonstrations on 14 occasions at our schools and some of our civic events. They've responded to 343 alarm calls, and they provided enhanced patrols on over 5,000 occasions. That's over the past 12 months. So we're extremely proud of them. And also, this is going to enhance our relationships with our neighboring agencies, too, because we're opening up our doors, and they frequently train with them on a regular basis. So it's just a thank you to the city, to the mayor and council, to the city manager, and also the other city departments that contribute to this. It's been a nice effort. Thank you, Brian. And city manager wanted me to give you an update also on the way things were going with our officers that are in our elementary schools. It never ceases to amaze me, some of the emails I get, which many I try to share. But in this particular email I got the other day, I'd like to read. This is from a parent, Mrs. Jill Lovejoy. She's a mother of 3.5-year-old Andrew, who goes to Dwight D.D. Eisenhower Elementary. She sent this to me saying, I just wanted to let you know that you have some amazing officers in your department. My son Andrew is 3.5 years old and goes to preschool at Eisenhower Elementary, and we see the officers there every day. They are all amazing. They give my son high fives and pep talks on a daily basis. One officer that has gone way above and beyond is Officer Ryan Trudeau. My son is his biggest fan. He pretends to be him every day. He will only answer if you call him Officer Trudeau, and he even dressed up as him for Halloween. I emailed Officer Trudeau and told him how much my son loves him and asked if we could get a picture with them together in their uniforms. He quickly responded, and we set up a meeting, and the following pictures are the result. I cannot thank him enough for his time and effort. It may have been no big deal to him, but to my son, it meant the world. So these were some of the pictures that she sent along with that email, which I responded back to her telling her it made my day. but this is a great example. And this was one, I think, of 3 emails I got just this week from either school staff or parents talking about the response to our officers in the elementary schools. So it's been an awesome experience, not only for the schools, but also for my officers. And also, we wanted to give you an update with some of the assistance we're providing in the Hurricane Michael relief to the Panhandle. We recently had several of our communications supervisors come back after a 7-day deployment to Marianna, Florida, in Jackson County, where they were requested to assist them with some of their public safety dispatch services. And they provided an excellent service, and we've gotten rave reviews on that. The day before yesterday, we received another request from the state of Florida EOC. They were requesting some emergency assistance with law enforcement operations in Panama City. We quickly obliged, and this morning we sent 10 officers, 8 officers, and 2 supervisors that left this morning to go to the Panhandle in Panama City. And we got a quick video just to show you on the deployment this morning. They're there for 7 days, and we'll see how it goes from there with what other requests we make. But I'm really proud of the department. I really thank the city manager, the city staff, and the mayor and council for your support for all of these things. Couldn't be possible without you. Thank you.
Well, if that doesn't put a lump in your throat and make you feel proud, I don't know what will. That's quite a display. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Chief. Next, we'd like to invite our Deputy City Manager, Steve Step Up, to give you a, not Step Up, but Chief Steve Step to the microphone to give you an update on the operation of our Sister Cities program. Thank you, Chief Step Up.
Good evening. For the record, Stephen Stepp, Deputy City Manager. I'd like to do a brief presentation on an operation we just recently began called Operation Sister City. As you know, the Panhandle was hit with Hurricane Michael on October 10th. It was a Category 4 storm, the strongest storm ever to hit the Panhandle. Bay County and the city of Callaway were severely impacted by the storm. They have approximately 300 employees in that area that either lost their homes entirely or had significant damage to their property. Some walked away with only the clothes on their back. These are a few pictures of some of the damage that our employees saw when we deployed up there. Some areas were even a lot worse than this, as you can imagine. Due to the severity of the hurricane, our city manager, Ron Ferris, anticipated that we might be called upon for help. So the next day, he activated our emergency management team to set up or develop an action plan. And at the same time, our emergency ops manager, David Reyes, got a call from the city of Callaway and also spoke to the public works manager for the county up there, for Bay County. They wanted to know about how we were so successful with our debris management program, what contracts we used, how we could assist them somehow. And they also told us, if possible, they had a list of emergency needs. So a decision was made that we would go up there. We would do a recon of sending certain employees up. So we sent fire rescue, police, and public works, including David Reyes, with all of his knowledge, to go up there and find out what their needs were. And we responded with 2 trailers full of equipment. And as soon as that equipment arrived, they were looking for things like extension cords for some of their electric motors and generators, and immediately we were able to help with that. Some of them hadn't washed their clothes in many days, so we hooked up washers and detergent that we brought so they could put on fresh clothes, little things like that that made a tremendous difference. So with 2 trailers, we had an immediate impact, and then came back with a list of more of what we needed. And then when they got back, we created this Operation Sister City Relief Committee and had our first meeting. These are 2 of the trailers being unloaded with a lot of the supplies. You'll see their city manager, Ed Cook, is there with the red shorts in the upper left, along with some of their employees and our employees, and just took a moment to snap a picture with them. But immediately they put out all that equipment. The city of Callaway had needs that far surpassed the initial shock of the disaster. They were trying to plan out not only what they were going to do the next couple days, but knew they had a plan for the next month or 2 as they moved into their recovery phase of the hurricane. Many resources that were deployed there are only deployed for a week at a time, so that first push is really important and really good, but then people have to leave and get back to their own locations. So what we thought we could do was to offer something during the first and second month that could really make a difference when everyone else was leaving. Callaway, the city of Callaway has approximately 15,000 residents, and they have 84 employees. Bay County is a lot larger, and they received other equipment and supplies, but they have 200 approximately public works employees who got very little. So our idea was to help those who help others, and that if we could help those first responders that are there trying to help the public with nothing to go back to, that we could make our greatest impact there. So we looked at the 84 employees from Callaway and over 200 from Bay County Public Works, and came up with a 4-phase plan. Phase 1 is already completed. That was our initial emergency supply delivery and our reconnaissance of what their needs were. Phase 2 is having to do with care packages. We're trying to come up with 300 packages for all those employees, and then bring bulk items, again, in trailers for their emergency operation needs at their EOC. The third phase is going to involve Big Heart Brigade, where they're trying to provide 15,000 meals during the week of Thanksgiving for the residents of that community of Callaway. And the fourth will include our Holiday Joy Drive, where we're trying to get a list of the children of all those people up there and trying to gather gifts that they could unwrap during the middle of December to have some type of holiday present provided to them. So at first, this was city employee motivated. Many employees came to us wanting to help and either respond or to donate to the program. So that's how we started out. And we just opened up our funds, and immediately our initial push from our employees were over $12,800. And we think over the next few days, our employees will contribute even more. Right away, when we started, Christ Fellowship stepped up to the plate, and the American Public Works Association joined in. They're each contributing, and shortly thereafter, Tropical Shipping came through along with Big Heart Brigade. So on this page, you see just a synopsis of the main people who've contributed so far. Tropical Shipping, it's interesting to see how they're responding. Their employees want to contribute individually, similar to the way our city employees are doing it. So first off, they donated 2 40-foot containers that will be left up there. They're donating them completely so that they'll have room to store a lot of the equipment they're getting, along with supplies that they're sending, and then the employees are going to collect funds and resources to send up there also. And I explained Big Heart Brigade. Also, we have a lot of committed partners that just came along in the last day or so, because we're just putting this together. Partners in our local community that are really stepping up to the plate, and we think we're going to see a lot more than this. Give you a moment to look through those names. So what we're going to be doing is packing up on November 11th. We're going to have a drop-off point that's already open at Burns Road Recreation Center. We're accepting new items, and they're listed there in red, or monetary donations if that's easier, and we're going to buy in bulk. So we'll take cash or items. We're not accepting food or clothing. It's too difficult for us to transport and sort. It's just not a good idea, and they're getting that from other sources. Any bulk items that we get will go to the EOC, and we're going to come up with 300 boxes that'll be care packages for each employee and their family to receive when we get up there on the 15th is when we'll make the delivery of November. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions that the council or anyone might have. We're excited about this. We're proud of our employees coming forward and how the rest of the community is coming to join the effort to really make a difference up there. And I believe they would come here to help us.
Any questions?
Yeah, where's the current drop-off spot? There were a couple.
Burns Road Recreation Center. You can come right in there. If you have a bulk pickup that needs to be made, we'll come and get it.
Okay. There were a couple of people in the parking lot out here today that didn't know where to go.
Cross street at Burns Road Recreation Center there.
How about at the Green Market this Sunday and next? Can we put something out there?
Well, we're having to move quick on it, and we've got to have employees that can transport it all, so we're spread a little thin right now. So our preference would be to drop it off at Burns Road. But again, if someone's got good items that are going to help out, if we have to, we'll come and get it. But that's our preferred site.
And you had the sandwich board at the Green Market on Sunday.
We're getting the word out.
Yeah.
The Palm Beach North Chamber is just become a partner, and they're going to help put information out. A lot of members already, other businesses in the community. We've been in contact with all of our HOAs, and we're hoping that they're going to put together their own little group in each community, and we're trying to get the word out to all of our citizens. And if they'd like to contribute, we just got to move over the next 10 days to get this done.
Perfect. Any questions, Carl?
Chief, is there a GoFundMe
No.
Locally to?
They can go on RecTrack if they want to donate over the internet. That can be done, and we set up a separate account with finance to track those funds.
Okay.
It's a wonderful thing, Chief. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And that concludes our report this evening. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Move that we adopt the consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Okay. And tonight we are holding, I love this, Patty. Thank you for always printing these for me. Tonight we are holding quasi-judicial hearings on the following cases. Ordinance 25, 2018, first reading, rezoning request for 11940 U.S. Highway 1 following annexation. Resolution 67, 2018, Avenir, 469 age-restricted single-family dwelling units. This means that the City Council is required by law to base its decisions on the evidence contained in the record of this proceeding, which consists of the testimony at the hearing, the materials which are in the official city file on this application, and any documents presented during this hearing. The Council is also required by law to allow cross-examination of any witnesses who testify tonight. Cross-examination may occur after the staff, the applicant, and other participants have made their presentations and will be permitted in the order of the witness's appearance. It is necessary that anyone who testifies at the hearing remain until the conclusion of the hearing in order to be able to respond to any questions. If you plan to testify this evening or wish to offer written comments, please fill out a card and give it to the clerk. I have none at the moment. The city clerk will now swear in all persons who intend to offer testimony this evening on any of these cases.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you. All right, so we are on Ordinance 19, 2018. May I have the clerk read the title, please?
Ordinance 19, 2018. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, amending Chapter 78, Land Development Regulations of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, at Article 5, Supplementary District Regulations at Division 6, Public Places, by adopting a new Subdivision 2, Placement of Memorials and Monuments on City Property, providing for definitions, application, and review process, further providing requirements for the financing, installation, ownership, and maintenance of memorials and monuments, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 78 Land Development Regulations shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date and further purposes.
I'll open the hearing. And has anything changed since the first reading?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Natalie Crowley with Planning and Zoning Department. And there have been no changes on Ordinance 19 since first reading.
Does anyone need an additional presentation? Okay. I don't have any comment cards, so there's no one to call to the podium. I will close the hearing. May I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve Ordinance 19, 2018.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-1. Thank you. Excuse me, 5-0. There's no 6 people here. It's the new math. Okay. All right. Now we are on to Ordinance 23. May I have the clerk read the title, please?
Ordinance 23, 2018, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, amending the City of Palm Beach Gardens budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2017, and ending September 30, 2018, inclusive, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
All right. I will open the hearing. Has anything changed since the first reading?
Good evening. For the record, Allan Owens, Finance Administrator, and no, ma'am, there have been no changes since first reading.
Anyone need a presentation? Okay, I'll close the hearing. I have no comment cards. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept Ordinance 23, 2018 on second reading.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All righty. Ordinance 24, 2018. May I have the clerk read the title, please?
Ordinance 24, 2018, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, adopting a small-scale amendment to its comprehensive plan, future land use map, in accordance with the mandates set forth in Chapter 163 Florida statutes, specifically Section 163.3184 et sequentes Florida statutes, pursuant to application number CPSS-18-09-000012, that provides for an amendment to the city's future land use map by designating one parcel of real property comprising approximately 5.74 acres in size, more or less, as C commercial, such parcel being generally located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Juneau Road and U.S. Highway 1, approximately 0.5 miles north of the intersection of U.S. Highway 1 and PGA Boulevard, providing for compliance with all requirements of Chapter 163 Florida statutes, providing for transmittal to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, DEO, providing that the future land use map of the City of Palm Beach Gardens be amended accordingly, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date and for other purposes. Note to the public, there is a sign-in sheet at the front table for anyone wanting additional information from the Department of Economic Opportunity.
Patty, do you want to read the companion now, or do we read it later? Read it after? Okay, thank you. All right, I will open the hearing. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Madam Mayor, members of the council. For the record, my name is Martin Fitz, planner with the Planning and Zoning Department. This is will be one presentation for both ordinances, but they will each require separate votes afterwards. This is a city-initiated request to amend the land use and zoning for a 5.74 acre parcel following an annexation. This is a standard practice that we do. It's in accordance with state law. Since it's now under our authority, we have to give it our land use and zoning designations. Just to acquaint everyone with the parcel, it's located on U.S. Highway 1 on the east side, just north of the Golden Bear Plaza, and it was annexed into the city on October 4th. So this is should be very familiar to everybody. This is the location of the former Carl's Plaza as well, and it's currently vacant. The plaza has a county commercial land use, and we are proposing a commercial land use within the city. This is consistent with the uses on the parcels that are around it. No addition. Please note that there are no changes to the uses proposed with this at this time, and the levels of service will not be impacted by the land use change. The zoning is proposed a general commercial CG1. This is also consistent with the uses and the approvals from the county, and it will pose no negative impacts on the public services. This notice was duly advertised and noticed, and mailers were sent out in accordance with our code and with state statutes. It was heard by the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board at the October 9th hearing, and it was recommended approval by a vote of 7-0. Staff is recommending approval of both ordinances and is available if you have any questions.
Thank you. I have no cards on this, so I will close the hearing. May I get a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion to move ordinance 24, 2018.
Thank you. Discussion? Any questions? Pretty basic. It does. All right, so since I have no more discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And now the companion.
Ordinance 25, 2018, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, rezoning certain real property within the corporate limits of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, consisting of one parcel of real property totaling 5.74 acres in size, more or less, such parcel being generally located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Juneau Road and U.S. Highway 1, approximately 0.5 miles north of the intersection of U.S. Highway 1 and PGA Boulevard. Providing that this parcel of real property is more particularly described herein, shall be assigned the city's zoning designation of general commercial CG1, providing that the zoning map of the City of Palm Beach Gardens be amended accordingly, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date and further purposes.
Thank you. Okay, I will open the hearing. Any ex partes?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. And we don't have to. We're all done, right?
Yes, ma'am. Just for the record, we'll incorporate the comments from the previous ordinance and that presentation into this ordinance and this hearing for the record.
Perfect. And I have no cards on this, so I will close the hearing. And may I have a motion, please? Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Okay. Wow. All our meetings should go like this. May I have the clerk read Resolution 67, 2018, please?
Resolution 67, 2018, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving a site plan for 469 age-restricted single-family homes on a 195-acre site within the Avenir Plan Community Development, PCD, that is generally located on the north side of North Lake Boulevard, east of Grapeview Boulevard, west of Bay Hill Drive, and south of the Beeline Highway, as more particularly described herein, providing conditions of approval, providing waivers, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
Thank you. And I will open the hearing. Any ex partes? I think we all have at some point in time, so we'll just say yes. And Mr. Tuma, have you been sworn in?
I have, Madam Mayor. Good evening. Ken Tuma with Urban Design Kilday Studios. My address is 610 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, and I have been sworn in here tonight on behalf of Avenir. Presentation tonight will be about 11 slides, and I'd like to go through what is the first site plan of Avenir, even though it's called site plan number 2 because site plan number 1 is a little slower, but site plan number 2 is going to catch up. The proposal that's in front of you tonight is an age-restricted community, the first parcel that you'll see in a site plan format. So just walking through the presentation quickly, I know you're familiar with the site, but it's located 6 miles west of the Florida Turnpike. It's a site identified here in orange on the screen. It's a total parcel acreage of 4,763 acres. There is a mix of uses that are approved for the site. I'm just going to go over a couple highlights. The first one is 2,407 acres will be placed in, or is placed in conservation. There will be 2,690 single-family homes, 960 age-restricted homes, 250 multifamily,
a host of commercial, medical office, professional office, hotels, and of course there have been land dedications. The land dedications for the civic recreational site, which is approximately all in total 115 acres, has already been dedicated to the city. Also, the economic parcel here has been dedicated to the city. So a host of uses on the subject site that we discussed last time when the PCD was in front of you. So the location of site plan number 2 is here, and my next slide will show how it fits in, but in essence there's a road that comes around. Site plan number 2 is 195 acres and again has 469 age-restricted homes. It's a mix of homes of 50-foot wide and 60-foot wide. So here is the proposed site plan that is in front of you tonight for your decision. You'll notice this on the right-hand side are the larger lots, on the left-hand side are the smaller lots. There are 267 50-foot lots and 202 60-foot lots. There's a total of 8.7 acres of open space or park requirement within the site, which is significantly more than what is required for this site. So where does this fit in the overall project? It fits here where my mouse is indicating, but just for a moment, let me show you where you are. This is the ancient tree development. It hasn't shown up on this slide. This is the ancient tree development. This is the unnamed road, also known as road number 4, till we get an officially approved name. And on the right-hand side will be site plan number 1, which will hopefully be in front of you sometime early in January, I hope. Site plan number 1 would be this parcel. This parcel here and here and here. Those are not age restricted. Those will be market rate units and approximately north of 400 units. But the project that's in front of you tonight is this subject site here. As you can see, the road identifying where the access point for the site is. So along the front of the project, or the spine road, this is spine road number 4, there is a significant amount of landscaping being proposed. And just for a frame of reference, on the left-hand side is the new development that will have a 6-foot high post and panel wall. And then in front of that, in that 15-foot landscape buffer, there'll be a significant amount of trees and landscaping going down the spine road. Already approved, when you approve the PCD, actually the entire landscaping here is already approved, and that will be coming in for a permit within the next week or two. So that has already been approved and working through it. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what you would see as you drive down that spine road. So here's the site plan, some key highlights within the site plan. This is the entry into the site. You'll notice a decorative pavers. There's a proposed guardhouse in this area. It's a gated community. There are gates associated with it. On the guardhouse and the entry feature, which is the hardscape, and then also on the architecture, there is a contract purchaser for this site. They will be coming before you sometime in the very near future to show what their design and thought process is for the entry features, for the architecture, for the signage. That will all come before you again in the future. But this is the entry feature. You'll notice the mix of palm trees, and then in the back here, a heavily planted area. The idea is, from a design standpoint, is kind of have an open area with the coconut trees, and then have it more heavily planted in the background. So this is what a sketch of that area will look like. The landscape is fairly accurate. Again, the signage and the design are all held in conceptual for this, and will come before you again in the future. So here's a site plan, some other key elements. The clubhouse, we're required to construct a minimum of 8,000 square foot clubhouse with pool, amenities, pickleball, and tennis courts. The designs will again come before you, and you'll probably see a significant size increase of this clubhouse when the ultimate builder comes through. The proposed area here is fairly significant. Street trees, there are street trees throughout the subject site. On this particular parcel of land, you'll notice that each community coming before you will have a different street tree, so it's not a repetitive action. This one will be an Eagleston holly tree, and there'll be over 500 of them. In regards to the overall landscaping, this subject site has 109,000 landscape points. What is required by your code is 60,000 landscape points, so it's about 185%, or 1.85. Lakes, there are a significant amount of lakes, as this is the first major development within Avenir. You'll notice that there are a large lake on the west side of the site, all important from the drainage standpoint that we create those now as part of this site plan. So here's a typical lake section. You'll notice the fountain in the middle, the green areas, which are littoral plantings, which will be the typical littoral planting with pickerel weed and a fire brush. But then there also is a component of trees associated with that surrounding area. There'll be red maples and bald cypress in those areas also. And this is a kind of a conceptual view of what a section of the lake will look like. You'll notice the littorals kind of working left to right, the littorals, and then you'll have these street trees, the lake maintenance easement. You'll notice that there are significant benches and swings throughout the area to make it a real community feeling within these park areas. So the park areas that are required, 2.25 acres is required. The Avenir parcel will be providing 8.07 within this parcel. More specifically, kind of giving you a global look at what some of these walking areas will look like. This area is right here, and it's an access point to the conservation easement, so there'll be access and the ability to walk in the conservation area. Here is a mailbox kiosk. Here is a walking area, so a fairly significant park area. And then another key element is the design of being able to walk through the community, over the lake, and all the way out to the western lake through this linear park system that's provided. There'll be a pedestrian bridge in similar form of architecture, this kind of that wooden look. Sidewalks, an important part. How do you make connectivity within a community? Well, we have a tremendous amount of sidewalks on this site. Actually, within this 469-unit parcel, there are 7.2 miles of sidewalks. You can get as many steps as you want by walking around Avenir, and this is to give you a view of what those sidewalk steps. Plus, on top of that, you can also go out into the conservation area and walk all along the conservation area. There are two waivers. I have down the two slides. There are two waivers. The first waiver is a request to construct sidewalk within the lake maintenance tract. There's a small area where it actually encroached in the lake maintenance tract identified in the oval. The second waiver is a request to allow for a reduction in the setback, particularly for the generators, for the side setback on one side. The request to allow for generators. We know that many of the potential buyers here will want to have generators. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Anyone have questions? We all knew it was coming.
It's coming, and there's a lot more coming, trust me.
Well,
Mayor?
Yes.
Can just go over the waiver, the first waiver?
Yes,
it's
sir.
A sidewalk where?
Yes, sir. So on a lot of communities within the city of Palm Beach Gardens, there are sidewalks within the lake maintenance tract. We didn't make that request during our PCD amendment, but basically you have a tract of land as it slopes down to the lake. There's a 28-foot section, and we're requesting to have a small encroachment to allow the sidewalk to go into a portion of that lake maintenance tract. That occurs in probably, I'd say, a lot of the communities in the city of Palm Beach Gardens. We just didn't request that for this site during the PCD process.
Anything else? Considering what you purchased, this land was purchased in 2012?
I think the folks behind me are probably not really happy to remind them of that, but yes, it was December of 2012, if I recall correctly.
And then 2016 was when you got your designations, or you
That's right.
came back from the
2016, January 6th, not that I remember.
Okay, so I have no comments. So I will close the hearing. May I have a motion and a second, please?
We adopt Resolution 67, 2018.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Sure. I think this is going to be, from everything I've seen, this is going to be a first-class project, better than any of us anticipated. I think we're really fortunate to have this developer making such a significant contribution to our community.
Thank you, Mr. Lane, and I can speak on behalf of the developer. They're doing a great job, and they're doing the right thing on everything that we're working on with them. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Do we have any idea what the price point's going to be in this development?
I do not know the answer to that, Councilmember Litt. I'm sorry. Significant though. If you just look across the street, the homes are selling for $700,000. I don't know what these homes will sell for.
Let's build. I'd like to say to the Avenir folks in the back of the room, thank you very much. This was my first vote on council in 2016, and it was quite amazing what you are all planning to do. And I'll reiterate what I said back then. We could have either done it wrong or we could have done it right. And by working with one developer who has a vision and works with the city as well as they do, we will have, this is a jewel for the city of Palm Beach Gardens. And with the benchmarks that you'll have to achieve, and you know, the spine road has to be in before you get your first CO and all other good stuff, and your commercial and residential and office all has to be in place. You're capturing traffic, and I know that's a big issue for a lot of people. And you know, if they can get their services out west, they're not going to come in town. They're not going to get on North Lake, and I'm sure there'll be some headaches along the way. And I do like to remind people that this is, I know you don't like to hear me say this, but this is a 20-year build. So thank you for the patience, and thank you for partnering with the City of Palm Beach Gardens. On that note, we did the motion in the second, correct? Yep. We did the discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay. May I have the clerk read Resolution 74, please?
Resolution 74, 2018, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, approving the sale of city-owned property located at 3704 Burns Road, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, more commonly known as the Public Works property, authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement with the highest bidder, Store All Acquisitions, LLC, in the amount of $3,800,000, further authorizing the city manager to execute any amendments to the subject agreement and any other documents necessary to effectuate such sale, providing an effective date for other purposes.
Thank you. Kumra, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
All right. Do you have a presentation for us?
Yes, I do. For the record, Kumra, Purchasing and Contracts Director, and good evening to the City Council. The resolution before you is for the execution of the sales agreement for the premises at 3704 Burns Road, Palm Beach Gardens. That premise is known as the Public Works property, and it currently houses the Public Works Division, Fleet Operations, a sign shop, and the offices of the Community Services Department. Staff has researched the property has no historical significance or value, and prior to putting it on the market, we had it appraised for a value of $2.26 million. This is the location of the property. This is Burns Road. This is the property. As you know, in November 2017, we hired Anderson & Carr to sell the property publicly. The property was publicly advertised in various areas, various media, and signs posted at the location. And each time we got offers, we reviewed them with the realtor and got his advice, etc., on the conditions. The offers we received were Store Acquisitions, $3.8 million, Channing Corporation, $2.6 million, and the Village of North Palm Beach made an offer of $2.5 million. Staff recommends the City Council approve the sale of property to the highest bidder, Store Acquisitions, for $3.8 million. Any questions?
Any questions? Sort of a no-brainer. We get to put it on the tax roll too, so. Yeah. And the money is going to go towards?
It's offset the cost of the tennis facility.
Thank you very much. All righty. May I have a motion and a second, please? We're four.
I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 74, 2018.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Kumra.
Well,
am I missing anything?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
when you go on to items for council action, would you announce that next meeting starting time for us, please?
Yes, because we have a long agenda for December, our meeting will be starting at 6 o'clock, not 7. So public notices, our December meeting will be starting at 6 o'clock. And Mark, you wanted to, what is it you asked me?
Just as a reminder that
Veterans
Day is going to be coming up. I feel terrible that I won't be here for the Saturday city event, but there will be a Saturday event. And Mayor, if you'd like to announce that.
We have a lot going on Veterans Day weekend. There is, we'll be in the Plaza on Saturday. We'll be at Green Market on Sunday. Several of us will be at North Palm on Monday. So please check the city's website for our schedule. There's also a lot of activity going on at the Green Market, and we have the holiday tree lighting. So there's a lot going on in December. So just the tree lighting, well, tree lighting is December 14th, right? Friday? Oh,
November
that's right, because I'm
30th.
going from one direction to the other. Okay, tree lighting is November 30th. So that will also be on the city's website. So please check our website because there are a lot of things going on November, December, January. I do not have any other items for council action or discussion. Anything anyone would like to discuss? City Attorney, do you have a report?
Very briefly. I sent all of you an email earlier this week giving you a brief update about, we have Sears, we'll call them Sears 1 and 2. Sears 1 is the case that we still have the pending hearing to determine the attorney's fees award, and I've been working very closely with our outside counsel from Jones Foster, and we're moving forward in that matter, and I'm cautiously optimistic about the outcome with regard to that. I can't really get into too much of it because it's pending litigation, but I think it's promising. And we've also been in contact. As you know, we were then sued inexplicably again by Sears. And we started dealing with that case, expanded the scope of our representation with our outside counsel from Jones Foster, Mr. Hawkins. I've been working with them on that case. As you may be aware, Sears Roebuck and Company filed bankruptcy about a week and a half ago. About a week and a half ago, they filed Chapter 11, and they are a debtor in possession right now, and attempting to go through reorganization. And then through conversations with Mr. Hawkins and attorneys from Richmond Greer, they informed us that Sears intends to dismiss case number 2 without prejudice, which means they would have the opportunity to refile the case, but they have expressed to us that is their intent, is to dismiss it. We were expecting to see the dismissal this week. They haven't executed it yet, so we may see it tomorrow or sometime next week. Things are a little discombobulated with Sears right now because of their bankruptcy, as you might guess. So we'll either see it, I think, maybe this week or next week, a dismissal. And again, it'll be without prejudice, which would give them the ability to refile it. But we'll wait and see if they do.
All righty. Anything else?
No, ma'am, not really.
I have to say, at 8:15, this meeting is adjourned.